Okay. I'm all done with my lunch. It was good. I forgot to mention with my lunch I had some greens. So it was a mix of spinach and spring mix greens. Oh, it's so hot in here. All right, so I'm back for another scrapbook video. I'm gonna hopefully finish these scrapbook videos today. It's 3:17 p.m. So I got a lot of time. Should be plenty of time to finish this here. Here is a photo. I guess I'll read this. That's Aaron Ralston. So he's back scaling mountain peaks, skiing summits, and climbing ice walls. An act of survival, mountain climbing. Ralston lives life to fullest after accident. This is in Colorado. As he sawed through the... Oh, wow! As he sawed through the final strands of his own tissue... and skin with a dull blade. I don't think I've ever read this. I just saw the headline and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I guess I'll put it in a scrapbook. I think I got like a bug bite on my neck there. I don't like it. So I don't think I've ever read this article. Maybe I skimmed it. Okay. Aaron Ralston was overcome with emotion, awash in a wave of euphoria unlike anything he'd felt before. Malnutrition and dehydration, delirium, searing pain, none of it registered anymore. Held captive by a half-ton boulder at the bottom of a narrow canyon for 5 days, Ralston freed himself by severing his own arm. Gaining an unexpected second chance at life, resigned to death the night before, Ralston felt more alive than ever, glowing from what he believed to be the close of one life and birth of another. And he hasn't stopped living in the 2 years since. At this point, I've got the confidence to know that I'll get through anything in my life given I have the motivation to do it, Ralston said. If it's an act of survival, we've all got a reason to keep living. It may not be pretty, but surviving is grit and determination in its highest form. I learned that I've got the capacity to do a hell of a lot more than I thought I could if I have the proper motivation. By now, Ralston's survival story is well known. Heading out on a relatively benign, at least to an experienced mountaineer such as Ralston, hike through a slot canyon in the Utah desert in April 2003. Ralston became trapped when a chalkstone dislodged and trapped his right arm. With little food, less water, and virtually no chance of being rescued, Ralston used drastic means to extend his life, from drinking his own urine. Oh. Drinking his own urine to rigging ropes and webbing to support his weight. Unable to budge the boulder with a makeshift pulley system or break it with a multi-tool, Ralston escaped by torquing his arm against the rock to break his bones. Then ripping through his decaying flesh with a small, dull knife. His bloody stump wrapped in a makeshift sling. Ralston rappelled down a 60-foot drop, then hiked 6 miles through the desert before an improbable sequence of events, including stumbling across a family of hikers and getting to a helicopter just in time, helped save his life. It really was a miracle that things just worked and fell into place, said Donna Ralston, who spent 2 frantic days coordinating rescue efforts for her son from her Denver area home. I feel like there was a reason why things happened in the way they did. It wasn't just happenstance. She's not the only one who sees it that way. During his darkest moments in the bottom of the canyon, Ralston had a vision of a young boy. Unlike his previous visions that final night, Ralston said he was able to touch this one, lifting the boy upon his shoulder with an arm missing its right hand. Ralston had come to terms with his death the night before, and now this boy, which he believed to be his future son, had given him a reason to live, though the first few months after the accident were filled with surgeries, a kaleidoscope of painkillers, and frustrating inactivity. It didn't take Ralston long to return to what he loves. It started with hiking and running with friends, and pretty soon he was back scaling 14,000-foot peaks, skiing summits, and climbing ice walls. Using prosthetics he helped develop, Ralston completed a 9-year project of scaling the highest point in all 50 states, then became the first person to solo climb all 59 of Colorado's 14,000-foot peaks. In winter, crossing the last 14 off his list after the accident. In January, he summited Argentina's 22,840-foot Mount Aconcagua, the world's highest mountain outside Asia. Then climbed and skied 10 peaks of at least 13,000 feet in the spring. Ralston also got into ultra running, testing his willpower and fitness in the diabolical Hard Rock, a 100-mile race featuring 66,000 feet of elevation change. In case that wasn't enough, Ralston tried his hand at surfing, spent more time mountain biking, Wow. And did all kinds of hiking and climbing. That Ralston's love for the wilderness didn't diminish with his accident isn't a surprise. He's had a spiritual connection with the outdoors since he was a teenager. What did change was Ralston's appreciation for those closest to him. I think my spirituality is very similar to what it was before. It wasn't as if I went through some kind of enlightenment and figured out all the answers, said Ralston, who will turn 30 in October. I figured out what was important to me, but I knew that before. I just didn't express it as much to the people I appreciate, to my family and friends, and I've tried to be more practiced in that. And it goes beyond his inner circle. As his astonishing story of survival spread, Ralston was inundated with thousands of letters and emails from people thanking him for giving them inspiration. The correspondences spiked again when his best-selling book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, hit the shelves last fall. Realizing his story touched so many people, Ralston lifted the spirits of thousands more by reliving his ordeal at speaking engagements. Ralston has been invited to climb in New Zealand this winter and will head to the Himalayas next year to ski a pair of 8,000-meter peaks. Plus, Ralston has plans to meet the boy in his vision when the time is right. Wow. Wow. Here's a photo of Brett Favre. Favre looks good again, but Rodgers struggles for second straight week. So this is probably about preseason. Green Bay quarterback Brett Favre passes during the first half against Buffalo on Saturday. Yep, that's about preseason. Here is a photo of an old woman who probably isn't around anymore. Goldie Alseth. Because this is an old article. And Alseth 100th. So she turned 100 at this time. But this article, I don't even know how old this article is. Goldie Alseth of Galesville, Wisconsin, that's not too far from here, will celebrate her 100th birthday with an open house from 1 to 4 p.m. Saturday, August 27th at the Centerville Community Center, Centerville, Wisconsin. Goldie was born August 26th, 1905. Wow. Man charged with battering mother. This is in Milwaukee. A man who accused off-duty police officers of beating him last fall was charged with battering his mother. Frank Jude Jr., 27 of Appleton, choked his mother, punched her in the jaw, and threatened to kill her. August 13th, according to a criminal complaint filed Friday in Milwaukee County Circuit Court. Jude pleaded not guilty to charges of misdemeanor battery and disorderly conduct. He faces up to a year in prison and an $11,000 fine if convicted. His next court appearance is set for August 31st. Wow.